Hi guys, welcome back to carbuyer.com.sg. Today we're looking at the new Mercedes-Benz C160. This is the cheapest big Mercedes you can find in Singapore. And chickens. We are going to walk you through it and find out if it's really a poverty spec Mercedes. Okay, so the C160 is the newest entry-level C-Class. It's the cheapest C-Class with the least power and a small engine. Well, sedans are really popular here in Singapore, and last year Mercedes was the third best-selling brand in Singapore after Honda and Toyota. Now, we are used to hearing that in Singapore, but I really can't think of anywhere else in the world really where Mercedes is number 3 and BMW is number 5 on the bestseller charts. You know, some guys who are watching from other countries might want to chip in and talk about how different it is over there. And of course, we have a story on carbuyer.com.sg analyzing the top 10 brands by sales in Singapore for 2019. So click on that in the description. Okay, so when we say cheapest big Mercedes, rear-wheel drive MRA platform as contrast to the MFA compact cars. This is 179 888 with COE, and the next car up in the list is the C180, and that's $5,000 more expensive. But all in all, 179 888 still about 23 grand cheaper than the cheapest A-class sedan, which is the smaller sedan in the lineup, just launched last year. And only a few grand off a CLA 200 to give you an idea of the pricing. Okay, so C160, as the number suggests, least powerful C-Class. Above this is the C180, so that has a 1.6 litre turbo engine with 156 horsepower. C160 has the new gen 1.5 litre engine with 129 horsepower. So that's the same engine found in the C200, but of course the C200 has more power and has a mild hybrid system. But to put this all into perspective, it's only about 10 horsepower more than a Toyota Corolla Altis. And one reason why this car would be popular is because of the relatively low price. But the important thing to know, is this a poverty spec car? So what is a poverty spec car? Now, it's a car with absolutely nothing inside, manual everything, manual one-zone aircon, steering wheel adjuster, analog dials, blah, blah, blah. In other countries, it'd be rental car spec or taxi spec. And honestly, if a car is, that kind of level of equipment, I think you're better off going with a nicer spec car from a non-luxury brand. Of course, we've seen a review of the Mazda CX-30, for example, and we've also seen the Toyota Corolla Altis here. So, non-luxury cars have a lot of technology nowadays. You're really not missing out much at all if you go with one of those. But luckily, it's not the case here. How do you spot a poverty spec car? You look at the wheels. Now, these are 17-inch wheels, so poverty spec cars might be 16s or less, and this is pretty much on the borderline, but as you can see, it doesn't look too bad. And this is the avant-garde version. You can tell by the big Mercedes star and the double louver grille. So it doesn't look, cheap or anything. It's not poverty spec just yet. Let's look on the inside. Okay, so you can immediately tell this is not a poverty spec car because of this thing. That's the 12.3-inch active display, and there's a 10.25-inch infotainment display as well. So very shiny, very high-tech, not poverty spec at all. Now, this is not the latest MBUX system. It doesn't have a touchscreen. It's controlled by the touchpad and the rotary dial here. So this is what Mercedes calls the 5.5 iteration of its infotainment. MBUX is 6.0, but it still does have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, so you're not totally, bereft of technology here. And there are also plenty of automatic features. So we got auto headlights. There is even a steering wheel adjuster. Now, I honestly didn't expect to see that in this car. We also have an auto tailgate, reverse camera, tire pressure monitor, and we got our color change interior lighting as well. There is no Burmester sound system. You got to pay extra for that. It's about $3,000, I think. And in terms of safety, it only has autonomous front braking, but I think in the modern world, that is the bare minimum you should expect. That's called active brake assist. So that'll stop you from ramming people in front of you if you're not paying attention. Again, as we mentioned in our video review of the CX-30, the Mazda, which costs a good $40,000 less. It's got a lot more safety systems than this. And also the Toyota Corolla. You should expect more active safety systems from your car from 2020 onwards. But you can also get, stuff like blind spot monitoring, lane keeping assist, all that stuff. That is the driver's assistance package that costs 8.9 grand extra in Singapore. Okay, so we've driven this car a little bit. This is a short walkthrough, so we won't go into tons of detail. Check out the website's review for more details on that. But I will say it's quite frugal. You can probably hit sub 8.0 liters per 100 in this baby. How much did I get? 6.6, not bad. That was a highway run. But actually, it's not super refined. The engine, new gen engines typically tend to sound a little bit like diesels, a bit like the Volvo inline fours. It's this very pronounced, how do you say? It's a pronounced kind of gruff note, which is typical of new generation engines. And like we said, 129 horsepower is not fast, 0 to 100 in 10 plus seconds. But I figure if you want to buy this car, you're probably not going to want to go fast at all. Okay, so that does it for our roundup of the Mercedes-Benz C160. The full review is up on carbuyer.com.sg as usual. We also have our review of the C200 if you want to compare to that. I think that was a slightly better drive. If you found the advice here useful, please support us by subscribing, liking, sharing the video, and of course visiting the website. See you guys.